Hi everyone, this is Rose Wilkerson, and today's topic for my video presentation is, does Shreem Brzee work? So for some of you out there who may not be familiar with what Shreem Brzee is a wealth mantra that was given to us by Dr. Bhaskaran Pillai of the Pillai Center. And it consists of two mantras actually, and talk about this briefly because I actually have done another video that talks more about what is Shreem Brzee exactly? But Shreem is a Sanskrit mantra for the goddess Lakshmi, and it is a mantra for prosperity and abundance. And it's actually a prosperity and abundance in all areas of your life, with health and beauty, as well as wealth and money. And Brzee is actually a very unique mantra that was given specifically to Dr. Pillai to provide to the world. It is a mantra that helps to get rid of poverty and scarcity, lack of money and lack of wealth and lack of abundance. And if you know anything about Dr. Bhaskaran Pillai, one of his main missions is to help people with their karmic issues around money. So we're so grateful that he has provided this mantra, Shreem Brzee, just for us. So does it actually work? Okay, so this is a very interesting question because if some of you may know me as a Facebook manager for many of the Pillai Center groups, Facebook groups, and it's a question that we see often a lot. And the simple answer is yes, it does. However, I'd like to provide a little bit more information about how Shreem Brzee works for you. Okay. Now, I have to say this to say everybody's different in terms of what they want and what they want to create. Okay. But Shreem Brzee as a mantra, actually, it is a sound. You know, mantras are sounds. They are a type of frequency of sound that calls in a particular energy to help transform your life. Well, what does that mean? Like, I know some of you are like, well, what does that mean, Rose? What do you mean it's the energy that changes our life? Well, basically, it can change the actual brain chemistry in your head, in your mind. If you think about it as awakening certain areas of your brain, most of you will probably have heard the statement that we only use about 10% of our brain. Well, we have a good 90% that we're not using. So it awakens certain parts of the brain, and it allows us to have certain kind of knowledge, have certain kind of intellect without even having to go to school to read books or anything like that. I mean, it doesn't matter where you are in life. Shreem Brzee is a mantra that'll work for anyone. And actually, all Sanskrit mantras work in that fashion. They can actually change the chemistry of your brain. Well, why is this important? Well, our karmic issues, especially our negative karmic issues, are things that are lodged within our brain. It's how we grow up. It's the sayings that our parents say to us, what their beliefs are, what their thoughts are, what our grandparents' thoughts are, and maybe even our great-grandparents. The way that we are brought up really has a very strong influence on how we see and view the world. Okay, how we think, how our brain even functions. It's biological and it's also psychological as well. So Shreem Brzee as a mantra can come in and make those changes into your brain. Now, some people will say, well, okay, well, that's fine and dandy, but I've been chanting Shreem Brzee for 50 days now, and I'm not seeing the results that I want to see. Is it really working for me? The simple answer is yes, it is. So a lot of times the way that a mantra works is behind the scenes. It's not, let's see, how can I put it? So the best way I want to put it is that it's not giving you what you desire. The part of the reason why you're not seeing what you want to manifest with the Shreem Brzee mantra is that it's your level of consciousness. So think about it. If you want to be up here, let's say you want to be a millionaire, but you're down here, it's going to take some time for you to get up to that point, right? Not just financially, but even you have to have a certain level of consciousness to be able to become a millionaire, whether it's a millionaire out of your own business or maybe you're a CEO, top CEO of a company, whatever the situation is that brings you into the realm of being a millionaire, it's going to take you some time to get there. So number one, you have to be patient. Number two, the mantra works even when you're not seeing the specific result that you're looking for. It takes time for some people. Some of us have karmic issues, very strong karmic issues, that have to be worked on and worked through in order to get to what we want. Oftentimes in our Facebook groups, we will do a 40-day challenge, and some people will see results. Some people will just, have maybe an overall feeling of feeling better, feeling more peaceful, feeling relaxed. Some people will have visions of the goddess. And that's all great. And what that means is that the mantra is working for you, even though it may not have produced the exact result that you're looking for. To be completely honest with you, there are very few people that I have seen, and even within my own life, where 40 days is all you need to chant a mantra in order for things to change. Now, if that's true, I have heard of at least one or two people that have had that. I mean, really a very small number, maybe about 5 people or so, who will chant Shreem Brzee, and within a matter of small number of days, they get what they desire. It's very rare for that to happen. And what I'm saying is that people have a lot of karmic issues, a lot of karmic baggage that has to be worked through. That's what Shreem Brzee is doing. It is hitting each of those areas and resolving those areas, removing those karmic issues of poverty and scarcity in order to get what you want. Okay, so hopefully that makes sense to you. And if you don't understand what I'm saying, or if you have a question, please feel free to write a comment below. So I wanted to provide also something else for you as well to think about. What is the best way to practice Shreem Brzee? I want to offer that information as well, because that's always a great question, and a question that a lot of people ask. So you can chant the Shreem Brzee mantra 108 times a day. That's what we suggest. We do 40-day challenges, but oftentimes we know that it takes more than 40 days. So I would say, plan for an 80-day challenge, or just do it every day until you get what you desire. Okay. So you would chant the mantra. You can chant it out loud, such as Shreem Brzee, Shreem Brzee, Shreem Brzee. Okay. You can also chant it silently within your mind. You can do it that way. Or you can actually write it 108 times a day as well. If you want to do more than 108, that's great. You could do 1,008 or 10,008 if you have the time. So those are one of the power. So what is the most powerful way? Because a lot of people will say, well, should I chant it out loud? Should I chant it silently? One of the most powerful ways to do it is to write the mantra, because you're actually thinking about it as well, which also means that chanting the mantra silently is very powerful because it works on a very subtle level within your consciousness, okay? It doesn't mean that chanting out loud doesn't work. Usually when you chant out loud, you're more engaged physically, right? And you're more focused. For people chanting in their mind or silently, sometimes you can lose focus because your mind can go off on some other track for some reason. You'll think about other topics or things of that nature. Writing is also a very focused event. So writing the mantra helps you to remain your focus on the sounds. Okay. So great. That's a great way to practice your mantra. Here's the other thing too. I wanted to add to this, and this may seem a little disjunct or out of order, so please forgive me. But I wanted to say that, I know a lot of people out there have been chanting, and you've been chanting for a long time, and maybe you feel disheartened because you haven't seen what you want to manifest. And I want to encourage you just to say, this is a time where when you start to lose hope, is to really lean on your practice. Really lean on the Shreem Brzee mantra and believe it as a real entity, as a real being. Because as Dr. Pillai says, Shreem Brzee is a goddess. It's goddess Lakshmi. And she is real, okay? If you ever Google, her image, Lakshmi, you'll see plenty of images. Here's an image right here that you can see. Here's a statue over here, as well as I have a picture of her on my wall. It's not just, these are not just sounds. It's not just a word that has no meaning. These are, Shreem Brzee is a mantra that can literally transform your life. And I've seen many people, and I've known many people where this mantra has changed their life. Not only that, is that Shreem Brzee is a real consciousness That's why Dr. Pillai says it's not just a sound, it's not just a word. It is a consciousness, meaning that it is a goddess. It's an anthropomorphic goddess. Lakshmi looks a lot like we do. If you're a female and you have long hair and you like to wear pink, I have my little pink, eyeshadow on if you can see it. But my advice is when you're struggling and you're not sure whether or not this chanting this mantra is working for you, I would say lean into the practice a bit more. Chant more. Try to fill your mind with the mantra. Don't just chant Shreem Brzee, Shreem Brzee, Shreem Brzee, just unconsciously, right? Think of each sound. Hear each sound. Let it fill your mind. Let it fill your head. Let it fill your body and your soul. Try to do it consciously. And if not, just try to chant the mantra as often as you can throughout the day. Whether you count it with a mala or you don't, or you just chant whenever you don't have to have a particular focus on something, chant Shreem Brzee. Just Shreem Brzee. Dr. Pillai has also said that just fill your mind with the mantra. When you fill your mind with the mantra, that's when you will truly manifest what you desire. Treat Lakshmi as real. You can do it with candles and incense, and you have an image of her, and just treat her as a real person. When we were children, some of us used to have invisible friends, or, our imaginations were very powerful, and it was real for us until we were told it's not real when we became an adult, right? But treat her as real. Don't worry about what other people think or what other people say or what you have learned in the past. Treat Shreem Brzee as real. Treat her as a goddess. You can get, as you can see here, I have a candle that's lit. I have a statue. I have an image. And you can also offer milk chocolate, which she loves. Do that. Treat Shreem Brzee as a real entity. And when you do that, you will see changes. One more piece of advice, and that is, there's this blog article that I love from the Pillai Center, and it's called something like, Take It to the Goddess. When you are filled with fears and you're filled with doubts and you're not sure whether or not you want to continue with this mantra or any mantras for that matter, take it to the goddess. Take it to Lakshmi. Go to her, look at an image. I have had this happen, regardless of whether you have a statue with an actual altar that you see here, or if you have an image of her. I've done this with a digital image of a particular god at the time, and I was going through this real emotional thing, and I just kind of talked to him. He was on my phone. It was a picture on my tablet, right? And I just talked to him. I'm having such a hard time. I don't know what to do. I feel blah, 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 et cetera, et cetera. And I just poured my heart out. And I really felt so much better when I did that. And that's what Dr. Pillai says. When you treat Shreem Brzee, when you treat Lakshmi as a real entity, regardless of whether you have an altar or just a digital image of her, talk to her, treat her as real. Let her know what your issues and your problems are. Open your heart, because a lot of times some of us are just holding on to negativity, and that's part of the reason why we can't manifest what we want to manifest. So that's my advice to you. Does Shreem Brzee work? Yes, it does. You can chant it out loud. You can write it, or you can chant in your mind if you're not too unfocused to do that. Treat Shreem Brzee as real. Shreem Brzee is a real goddess. She's a real entity, and you can go to her. You can talk to her. You can tell her about your fears and your issues. Maybe you're angry, or whatever the situation is. Feel free to just open yourself up to her. Okay, you don't have to hide. They already know that you're having issues anyway. They can see that. Just be open and be honest about where you are. And 3, when you are really just not sure and you've been doing this for a long time, lean into your practice. Just keep going. Don't let your outer circumstance dictate, whether or not Shreem Brzee is actually working. If you don't see it yet, that's great. That means that, there's still some things to be worked through, and just keep going. So that's my advice for you guys today. If you have any questions or any comments, please post them in the comments below. Namaste.